Hello and welcome back to Vintage Treasures. And today we're going to be looking at one of my all-time favorite vehicles to ever come out for toy line, and one of the most accurate, dare I say, one of the most accurate toys we got for any toy line. That being the very loud, very cool 1989 Toy Biz Batman Batmobile. Now, you keen eye viewers will notice that this is not a Batman that's appropriate for this Batmobile. This is a Kenner Batman figure from the early 90s. I actually prefer these over the Toy Biz Batman figures. They have those ugly pins in their legs. And I still am going to get a full set of those just because there's only three of them. Technically, I mean, they did release some superpower sculpts, but uh, again, they give those nasty metal rivets in their legs. So I do prefer this line, and they had a lot of great figures come out. But this Batmobile's unmatched. So let's get a better look at this. And here we have it in all its beauty. You can see I could barely fit it in frame, but I managed it. And this thing is an absolute beast. It's pretty big. I mean, it's probably around 12 to 14 inches, which is a pretty big toy, considering the time we were in. The party wagon's pretty big, and I think this one stacks up to it in scale. Obviously a little less beefy, but definitely a little bit longer. So I think this vehicle is just absolutely great. Now, anyone who collects this line would know I am missing something technically that goes to this. Not to the vehicle itself, but this particular vehicle did have versions of it released. I think it was a little bit later than the first release. There was a vacuum formed piece of plastic um, that went over the Batmobile to protect it while he parked it in Gotham. I'll show you it on screen right now in the movie, and they replicated that with plastic. And I would absolutely love to have that piece, but I don't necessarily know where I would put it. Definitely not on the Batmobile. It would just cover up this beautiful piece right here. So let's take a look at the action features on this vehicle because there is a couple of them. Looking at this, it is blatantly obvious that there's two yellow protrusions coming out of the front of the Batmobile, and it's not supposed to sit like that. These are missiles and they're spring loaded. I just prefer to not have them sitting spring loaded because I know that little plastic pieces from about 30 years ago are not, tolerant of springs anymore, and they like to break. Like the Mad Balls head poppers, and I still see people display those with the heads on, but that's besides the point. Let's take a look at these missiles because these things shoot pretty hard, and I'm going to shoot them directly at myself. Don't do this at home, but I'm guessing few people are watching this are children, so it's probably common sense. But let's have a look at this. Obviously, I push those missiles in, and I put the lids down. The middle here, the gear shift, you pull that up, and it shoots the missiles. And yes, I did shoot myself. That has a lot of power behind it. Not enough to hurt someone, but definitely enough to shoot down a Joker or Bob the Goon action figure. You can also see Toy Biz had a great attention to detail. If you look here in the center console, you can see they added a sticker for the dashboard and an actual turning steering wheel. So you can actually turn that steering wheel, and then this obviously shoots the missiles. I don't have them locked in right now, but again, the attention to detail on this is great. Also, he's not in the movie, but they did leave a passenger seat for Robin, so you could sit your Robin figure from Toy Biz in that seat and have Batman and Robin fighting together. Although it's not movie canon, kids probably enjoyed it, and I think that's great they included that. And some may or may not count this as an action feature, but the trunk actually opens, which is, I think, a great little inclusion. There's a little bit of room in there. You could probably throw one or two action figures in there, which is great considering they only made three action figures from the movie. So technically, you could fit one, two, three, all figures in this Batmobile, although I don't know why Joker or Bob the Goon would be in the passenger seat. This trunk, I think, is a great feature. Definitely a great place to store accessories, and also a great place to look for accessories if you're ever looking to find a Batmobile and you're at a toy show. Give it a shake. If it rattles, there's probably a Batwing in there or something. Not a Batwing. Jeez. There's probably a Batarang in there or something, so definitely take a look at that if you ever are at a toy show and see one of these pieces. I do truly believe this is like the perfect balance of toyeticness and actually like being a toy and being a perfect representation for a collector. Obviously, there's a little bit of embellishment to make it more shiny or more uh, toyetic, but I can't complain. This vehicle is great, and it wasn't extremely expensive. Um, it was reasonably priced when it came out. I'll show you on screen what it cost back in 1989. Um, and it's not terrible. It's comparable to other vehicles from around that time, and definitely a great piece for any toy collector, vintage or modern. You can definitely display this with modern figures that are in this scale. It would look great. Now, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of Toy Biz. I definitely see a lot of their faults. I definitely see the lazy reusing of the sculpts from the Superpowers line. I'll show you the Penguin on screen, for instance. They did that with the Penguin, a couple swaps here and there. And there's a lot of variants on the Penguin, actually. I do want to track one of each down. And there's a lot of variants in this line as a whole for the figures, so definitely plenty of collecting to do there. There's different versions of Batman. There's different versions of the Penguin, which technically isn't from the movie, but does count as a movie figure as it came out in '89 and was on a similar card back. I consider it part of the line. Anyways, enough rambling. Tell me what you think about this Batmobile in the comments. Tell me if you had this as a kid and if you liked it, because I am curious. I did never have this as a kid, so I couldn't tell you. But I imagine you could have a lot of great adventures with this. The only thing I could probably say they should have included is maybe a grappling hook on the front. That would have been pretty cool, to hitch onto the Joker's van and uh, Robin tight ropes onto the string. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. I think it would have been great if they put that in, but what they gave us was already great. I couldn't wait to get one of these in my collection. I think I paid 15 for this, which is a great deal. I did have to do a little fixing on the windshield and on this gun right here, but honestly can't complain for 15 bucks. This toy as a whole, considering the price, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's great. Um, I have nothing to complain about really. And I'm not the biggest fan of Toy Biz, but this Batmobile is irresistible to any collector. If you collect the Kenner line, I still think you should get this because it just fits with them so well, like I said. I display it with my Kenner Batman in that front seat right there. If I can get him in there, right there. And it fits pretty darn good. They're similar scale, a little smaller, but it just makes the Batmobile look a little bit beefier, and I can't complain about that. Tell me what you think in the comments, as I said earlier, and yeah, tell me your favorite memory with this if you had it as a kid. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'll definitely reply to you. And have a great rest of your day or night, and goodbye.